Give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire.
How you doing, folks? Welcome back to World of Tanks with Scout. Today we're going to look at some gameplay in the Tiger 2. Now, if you've seen my earlier videos, the Tiger 2 is a tank that I love. I think it's a great machine. I just cannot catch a break in the Tiger 2. Every time I'm on the verge of having a great game, I either do something stupid and ruin it, or something just goes wrong. Horribly, horribly wrong. But I still love the tank. And so I'm going to keep trying to do well in it. You can see here that we're on port, and we did not get tiered very well at all. It's very much a tier 10 game. There's some tier 9s thrown in. And then a couple of tier 8 and tier 7 tanks on each side. Now, my team does have the advantage in terms of tier 9s. We've got one more tier 9 tank than the enemy if I do my math properly. So, it looks fairly decent for us, even though it doesn't look great for me personally. And what I noticed on the minimap is there's a distinct lack of tanks going to the western flank where most of the heavy tanks normally fight it out. So even though I'm only a tier 8 tank, I'm going to go over here and try to help out. I'm very cognizant of the fact that they have a tier 10 artillery in the form of that Batchat 15558. So what I'm thinking about doing is getting up here under one of these overpasses and park it. And there's exactly what I did not want to see, the Death Star. That guy could very easily one-shot me. But then again, he could very easily one-shot a lot of tanks, so I guess that's nothing special. I see the Patton and the Indian Panzer forward up here, and that's why I decided to move up. And there goes the Indian Panzer. He gets one shot by the Death Star. And look at all the tanks stacked up on the corner here. So I'm going to back up, get up under this overpass to protect myself from the artillery, and I'm going to sit here with this Patton and hope that they don't bum rush us. As one of our tier 10 tanks, the Patton is one of the better tanks on our tank, and on our team rather, and I don't want to leave them. And there's a good penetration on the Death Star. And you can see I'm not using premium rounds. That was just a standard AP round, just fired into the proper spot on the tank, the flank where his armor is weaker. Patton puts a good shot into him, and now I've got the side of his turret, and we secure the kill on that tier 10 tank destroyer. See the Patton engaging. Score is 5-3 right now, so the game doesn't look too bad. Just don't really like this spot that I'm in. I see the light tank and the medium over in Charlie 4 behind me, and I'm hoping that the 3 tanks we have in Echo 5 are keeping them occupied. I'm kind of worried though about them running in behind me. They're on the other side of some railroad cars right now, so they'll have to do some maneuvering to get there. I'm hoping the Patton can get shots on them if they try that, and that'll alert me to the fact that they're trying to get behind me, and I'll be able to get my turret around. I really don't want to leave this Patton here by himself against all these tanks. The enemy team is now making inroads into our base area on the eastern side of the map. You can see they've just killed our Yag Tiger and our E50, and now the game is starting to look a little more dicey. Patton gets a good kill on the T-21, which pulls us back ahead by one tank. But the enemy is slowly pushing west from the south. I'm starting to get concerned. I see the bat chat behind me. And he's making a run to base. And all I'm thinking is, oh my god, if that bat chat gets behind the tanks that are left trying to defend the base, they're going to be in trouble. And as soon as I move, I notice on my mini-map that these guys push the Patton. And once again, I shouldn't have moved. I should have stayed with the Patton and secured our flank. Now he's banged up really bad, and I don't know if I'm going to be fast enough to save him. We're working on the Conqueror first because the Conqueror's giving us flank and rear shots. Unfortunately, we get kind of a lowish damage roll, but admittedly a high damage roll wouldn't have killed the Conqueror. He's trying to ram the Patton to death. He's not paying attention, and I'm able to secure the kill on the Conqueror. Unfortunately, the M103 kills the Patton. I plant a shot into his back deck and set him on fire for some nice beta damage. Unfortunately, he uses a fire extinguisher, and you see there with good angling, we're actually able to bounce a shot from the M103 and then penetrate him again before he can get his tank turned all the way around. Now he's making a big mistake here and continuing to give us flank shots, which I will take every time. Now I've gone to premium rounds because I'm afraid he's going to face his front towards me, but fortunately he doesn't quite get it into the right spot, and the premium rounds at that range have enough penetration to go through his lower glacis, and we're able to secure our third kill. Unfortunately, it's now 12-13. It's just me and an Object 261, our artillery, versus an EM-50M, an Object 140, and an AMX 5120. Not great odds. You see me there apologizing to the Patton. I really feel bad that I moved when I did. I think if I'd have just sat, we probably could have won that corner and the Patton may not have died. And I just, looking back on this game, I really hate that. Now this is the other thing that I hate right there. There's the 5120. Got a nice clutch shot, a good damage roll. Unfortunately, it's not enough to kill him, and I'm going to pause it right here. Now I know that there are two other medium tanks for this AMX 5120, both of them tier 10, and I know that they're moving together because I've been watching the mini-map. I've seen them move through the town basically since the 7 line, push west through the town together. So what I'm thinking now is the mediums are behind them. They're right behind them. They're just around this corner. So what I can try to do while this AMX 5120 goes around the long way is I can push this away and try to finish one of those medium tanks, because I believe they are damaged. I don't think they made it all the way down here without damage. And if I can finish one of them off, then I can turn around and get the AMX 5120, who is a one-shot kill, an easy kill. In hindsight, that was a little over-aggressive, especially considering that I was outnumbered 3-1. In this position, what I should have done was pivoted my tank hard right, pointed the front of my tank towards this building right here, and then backed up right there near where these boxes are here, so that the AMX 5120 would have had to shoot me angled, and the medium tanks that I know are over here in this parking lot somewhere, if they'd have come out again, they'd have had to shoot me at an awkward angle. But you know, hindsight's 2020. That's what I should have done. Instead, what I did, again, a little too aggressive, I continued to push to try to finish one of the mediums, and let's see how it pans out. You see me there thinking about it. I thought about backing up, and then I was like, nope, let's finish this E50. And see, the E50 is damaged. Unfortunately, we bounced the shot. He's well angled. And then I continue to push, and now the AMX 5120 is behind us. And you can see he's going to finish us off before I can finish the E50M. Just a really, really bad decision. Completely underestimated the speed at which that AMX 5120 was going to be able to get around the corner. And that's going to be game. Unless the Object 261 can pull off a miracle. Oh, he just got blasted there. by the E50, I believe it was. And then the E50 finishes him off. And unfortunately, that goes down as a loss. Let's take a look at the results screen. So here you see the results screen for our loss on port. 33,797 credits earned. 720 experience without premium, which is really not too bad for a loss, honestly. If we take a look at the team score, you'll see that I actually came in second on the team in a bottom tier tank. Second only to the Patton, actually, who was up there on the west with us, managing to do 3,578 points of damage and secure 3 kills. Good enough for first in terms of experience gained on my team. Actually second right behind the Patton, who got 954. And, you know, this is again a case of when you're bottom tier heavy tank, you can only carry so much poor performance. I mean, look at the performance we got, for example, out of a Yag Tiger, who died without inflicting a single point of damage. Our Object 140, he only did 646 points of damage. And you can only carry so many tier 9 and 10 tanks when you're in a tier 8 heavy, but I don't know. I'm still, as great as I think that game is, considering that I was in a bottom tier tank, I think I could have won that, actually. I really do, and I'm really kind of disappointed with how I played that at the end. Let's take a look at the detailed report. So there it is. 13 shots fired, 13 direct hits, only 11 penetrations. Unfortunately, it wasn't even good enough for a sniper medal. If that had gotten us a sniper medal, we'd have gotten scored like a winner, and this wouldn't go down as quite such a painful loss. But that gives us our 3,578 points of damage. We received 7 hits, 6 of which penetrated. Actually managed to bounce one of those shots from that M103. Total potential damage received 2,780 points. Damaged 5 tanks and destroyed 3, all of which were at least 1 tier higher than us. Made 33,797 credits. Unfortunately, between repairs, resupply, and consumables, we ended up losing 10,142 credits. And again, I show that to you just to give you something that you can learn from when you're outnumbered, a better way of doing things, because I was a little overconfident there. And again, I still really think that cost us that game. I think we had a chance, if not to win, I think I had a chance to at least do better, and lost it just simply because I was a little overzealous at the end. But hope you enjoyed watching that video. I still thought it was a good game and a good result considering how we were tiered. Let's take a look at another game in the Tiger 2. So here we are on Tundra, tiered much better this time than the last game, fortunately for me. Unfortunately, Tundra is a map that I'm really not familiar with. I'm not really sure where to go, to be honest with you. I'm still learning it. I have learned that I don't really like going up or down the 0 line. I think that's a meat grinder. It's where all the good tanks go to die. So in this game, what I'm trying to do is putz around and figure out some way of approaching this map from the west and attacking either north or south, either way. It's irrelevant to me, but just finding movement corridors, valid ones that offer some cover on the western side of the map. So I'm pushing kind of west-northwest right now because I want to get over here first before I start turning south and looking for some corridors that offer me some cover. To be honest with you, I was feeling kind of confident at this point. This was still early after the release of Tundra, so most of the top tier heavy tanks tended to go to the meat grinder down the 0 line. So I didn't think that I was going to run into very many heavy tanks at all over here, if any, really. See, we've made contact with the Panther. We take a couple of shots there to bounce. Get a good penetration on that Panther. Bounce 2 more shots. The texts inform us that it's a easy 8, and oh my god, look at all the tanks. I did not expect that many tanks to be up here. And at this point, they've damaged my engine, blown out my tracks, and I'm like, you know what, screw it. I'm just gonna angle the tank and sit here and take as many hits as I can and take as many of these guys with me as I can. Fortunately, either their luck has run out or they've run out of gold rounds, because they seem to no longer be beach penetrating me. I really haven't changed the angle of the tank all that much, but I did angle it a little bit more because I was being, well, as soon as my tracks came up, because I was being penetrated a lot, I angled it a little more, and all of a sudden you see the penetration stop. So I'm not really sure if that little bit of pivot made that much of a difference, or if it was just one of those tanks shooting gold rounds and he finally either ran out of gold rounds or died. If we zoom out, you can see the angle that I'm sitting at here, and it seems to be very effective. Since I took up this position, I haven't been penetrated, or if I have, it's only been once. There's a penetrating shot there. And we finally secure our first kill on the Jumbo. There's the Panther that started this engagement. I don't think he's moved. If he has, he hasn't moved much. Penetrate him again. Another bounce. Actually, our tracks ate that shot. And finally, after receiving a hail of tank fire, we secure the kill on the Panther that we set about getting at the start of this engagement. T-34 takes out the T-25-2, and somehow I have survived the tremendous amount of punishment that they are throwing at my Tiger II. Now granted, those were a very high amount of that fire came from tier 6 and tier 7 mediums, but there were some tank destroyers out there as well. The T-25-2, may have been 2 of them. You see my Tiger struggling to get through this water because of the engine damage. Unfortunately, I can't repair it. You see, at the beginning I decided not to use my repair kit on my engine and track because I thought that I was a dead man, and that actually paid off because the next shot damaged my ammo rack and I was able to repair my ammo rack. And incredibly, the game is over already. We actually win by cap. So let's take a look at the results screen. So there you have it, a base capture victory on Tundra. Unsurprisingly, I got the steel wall medal for that. Let's take a look at the team score. And you see here I did manage to do 1,978 points of damage, which is not that great, but it's enough to come in second place on the team in terms of damage done. Was able to secure 2 kills. Didn't get much in the way of experience because I was engaged with a horde of tanks that were unfortunately mostly, like we said, tier 6 and tier 7 medium tanks. So doing that much damage, which is not, in that kind of tiering, it's not great. It's not bad, but it's not great. But it was all against tier 6 and 7 machines, so you're not going to get a lot of experience for that. Let's look at the detailed report. So I fired 12 shots, 9 of which hit. Of the 9 hits, 8 penetrated. That gives us our 1,900 points of damage. And incredibly, took 49 hits, 17 of which penetrated. And as you saw, a great many of those did not penetrate for damage. They penetrated the tracks and actually straight up bounced 32 shots. Total potential damage received 7,400 points of damage. And pretty much they all got slammed by my teammates as they were struggling to penetrate the armor of the Tiger II. We spotted incredibly only 2 enemies, damaged 3, only destroyed 2. Made 23,902 credits, but unfortunately, again, because of auto repairs, ammunition resupply, and really what killed the profit, what little there was left was consumable use. Using that repair kit, 3,000 there ended up costing us a little bit, and we ended up losing 2,120 credits. So there you go, really short game in the Tiger II. I tell you what, because that one was only 4 minutes long, I'll show you another. I just wanted to show you this one because it does show the armor potential of the Tiger II. When I think about the Tiger II, I don't typically consider the armor. It has great turret armor, but because of the lower glacis, I don't really consider the Tiger II a really well armored tank. But I think this video really shows what you can do with the Tiger II when you angle it well, especially when you get favorable matchmaking. I mean, not every game is going to be like the first game I showed you where you're fighting tier 10 tanks. You're going to have just as many where you're fighting tier 7s and tier 8s. And in those situations where you angle the tank properly, the Tiger II really can be quite strong, both hull and turret. And that's what I really wanted to demonstrate with this video. So let's take a look at just one more game with the Tiger II. So we're here on Himmelsdorf. Again, tiered fairly well. Majority tier 8. We actually have a slight advantage in that we have a couple more tier 8 tanks than the opposing team. Although they are tank destroyers, they're very strong tank destroyers. The T-28 has a great gun, and in this type of game is almost impenetrable from the front, bar premium ammo. And the Rheinmetall Borse Waffentrager, while it has no armor whatsoever to speak of, it has a fantastic gun, which is really fantastic when you're shooting at tier 7 targets. So let's see how this goes. I do not want to go up the hill. The Tiger II does not have great gun depression nor great speed, and I don't want to expose my lower glacis. So I'm going out here to the western side of the map. I knew I was going to lose that IS. He was going to get into that little window there. So I fired clutch, hoping I could get one into him before he disappeared. And unfortunately, because of that, the AMX is going to get away. I rip a shot there off at him, trying to get him. And what is that Hummel doing? Incredible. So we take a shot on the AMX AC-46 again. That time we plant one on him right through the window. And now we're going to engage this Black Prince. Shooting at those weak spots on the front of his hull there. He unfortunately figures out what we're doing and decides that parking in the open may not be the greatest thing ever. The AMX has managed to get himself tracked, so as long as he's sitting there, we'll retrack him. I was actually hoping for a penetration, but I knew that was sketchy, but I might be able to retrack him and allow whoever hit him the first time to kill him, and that's why I took that shot. And again, you see, in a good matchup, angled well like the Tiger is right now, its armor is actually quite troll. We have taken several hits and haven't been penetrated yet. We're going to move up here. There's not really a lot out here that's scaring me. And I want to support this IS who is YOLO'd into the middle of like 4 tanks. This is something that really aggravates me. When you see somebody make an aggressive move like this and try to win the game, I mean, if you're in the position and it's not complete suicide, for God's sake, move up there and support them. Way too often, I've made a move like that. It was aggressive, but it wasn't stupid. All I needed was a couple of people to come support me, and they don't, and instead they sit back there and die one by one. In this case, you see, I came up to support the IS, and so did that Hellcat over there off to the left. And we take a kind of a Mexican standoff situation and just turn it into a crushing victory, wiping out everyone there on the corner and taking no casualties in return because we supported one another. There's a VK behind a bunch of crap in the cap circle. I went ahead and just shot to take the stuff down. I knew it was going to penetrate him. I'm really looking forward to the upcoming patch where that shot would have gone in and hit him as well. Fortunately, our second shot sets him on fire, and we get the kill as his crew burns to death. No great achievement. He was AFK, but hey, damage is damage, and I'm not too proud. I'll take it. I see the M6 there, but I don't really want to all pile into the same place. What I'm looking at is the folks off to my right down here on the 8 line, and I want to pull in behind them and get these kills. A little bit of a clutch shot on the Cromwell. I was afraid he's going to take off around that corner, and I wanted to get one into him before he did. And now we're going to put shots in the back of the low, hoping to set him on fire. Unfortunately, we don't get it. Now here's the Cromwell coming at us. Really bad decision. Get a kill on the Cromwell. And unfortunately the IS-3 finishes off the Lerva before we can get the kill. We did get that Cromwell though. He was a little bit cheeky trying to drive circles around us and get away. And unfortunately the team caps instead of finishing off the kills again. So that's a game, 14-2. Pretty lopsided game. Let's take a look at the results screen. So you see here, base capture victory on Himmelsdorf. Finally managed to survive a game and win, pulling in 29,310 credits and earning 1,816 experience for the first victory of the day. Looking at the team score, I managed 2,336 points of damage, best on the team. Not earth-shattering really in that kind of a matchup, but not a bad result by any stretch of the imagination. Secured 3 kills, granted one of them was an AFK tank, but hey, somebody had to kill him. Which brings home 908 base experience, good enough for second place on the team in terms of base experience gain. And you'll note that the other team did not do particularly well at all. In point of fact, they had 6 vehicles on their team, including an IS that did absolutely no damage whatsoever. So not really a, how do I say this politely, not really a case of stiff competition in this case. Nothing went their way, unfortunately for them. Looking at the detailed report, fired 15 shots, only got 9 hits, kind of low for me, disappointed with that. But of the 9 hits, 8 penetrated, giving us our 2,336 points of damage. Took 8 hits sitting there on the corner, only 1 penetrated. 7 of them bounced. Total potential damage received 1,070. And again, just demonstrates that the Tiger's armor, when it is tiered well, is actually exceptionally strong, just as long as you angle it. But whatever you do, for the love of God, don't go straight at the enemy and expose your lower glacis, because not only will you get penetrated, you're more than likely going to get set on fire. I would say greater than 50% of the time. Spotted 2 enemy tanks, damaged 6, only destroyed 3 though. Also got credit for 217 points of assistance damage. And of our 29,310 credits after repair and rearm, managed to bring home 13,560. So there you have it, folks. 3 games in the Tiger 2. Having a little more luck with it lately, just not as much as I have in, say, in my IS-3. Still having better games in this tank than I do in the KV-4. I don't know, I think my KV-4 is cursed. I incessantly get in tier 10 games in the KV-4, and that's just not fun, because then your armor doesn't really count, and you're slower than a tortoise on top of it. So still really liking the Tiger 2, just wishing I could have a little better quality game in it. I am really proud of the first game I showed you guys. Let me know what you think about it in the comments down below. I think I did really well. I am a little disappointed that I think I could have performed better at the end of the game. But really at that point, I think the game, I mean, come on. Of 1 tier 8 heavy against, what, 2 tier 10s and a tier 9 tank? I don't feel too awfully bad about it. I think my team just had to play better in order for us to have a chance to win that. So overall, even though I don't like the way I ended that game, I was real happy with that game, and I thought it was a good game. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. Hopefully this has been enjoyable. Hopefully you learned a few things specifically about the Tiger 2 and in general about what to do in certain situations on the maps. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.